Sydney, 11 January 1965. A fierce summer nor'easter rakes Cronulla's beaches, heat shimmering, sand blowing, surf pounding. It looks like a perfect holiday Monday, but beneath the glare a story is about to unfold that will haunt Australia. It was hot, windy, and busy along the Cronulla foreshore, the kind of day families stake umbrellas and kids chase the whitewater. Among the beachgoers were two best friends, Marianne Schmidt, 15, and Sharrock, 15. They left their family group at Cronulla and set off walking north toward Wanda. The dunes at Wanda are expansive and exposed. Wind-rippled sand, low scrub, and long views. Beautiful, but isolated. Their last known movements placed them on or near those dunes, away from the crowds, edging into the wind and sand. As the afternoon wore on, the wind strengthened and the heat lingered. When the girls didn't return, concern grew. The next chapter began not with answers, but with a search, across tracks, through scrub, over the crests of sand. In the following period, a grim discovery would be made in those dunes. We will not show details, only the place and its conditions. News spread quickly. Police were called to the scene near Wanda, the dunes now a focus of urgent attention. Headlines would soon carry two names across the nation, Marianne Schmidt and Sharrock. Both were just 15, best friends. Their families and a community were plunged into shock. The dunes became a meticulously searched scene, officers marking, measuring, photographing, step by careful step. From that day, the Wanda Beach murders would define an investigation, methodical, complex, and urgent. Reporters gathered along the headlands. Locals stared toward the dunes, the wind carrying only questions. Police cordons, notepads, cameras, then the names in print, nationwide. A case that would not fade. We will avoid speculation. What we know is simple and devastating. Two teenagers left the beach for a walk and never came home. This is where our investigation begins. On a hot, windy day at Cronulla and in the dunes of Wanda with the surf rolling in. Around midday, a family picnic near Cronulla set an ordinary scene. The Schmidt family laid out blankets behind the beach, the sand already whipping under a strong nor'easter that pushed dunes into motion. As the wind rose, Marianne and offered to walk with the younger children along the sand. They set off toward the long, open stretch leading to Wanda. Near the dunes, the group paused. Marianne and decided to continue on. The younger children turned back toward the picnic. The wind carried voices away, and the sand quickly softened their footprints. Sightings later placed the girls moving through the dunes, heads down against the nor'easter, skirts and towels flapping, the sand shifting around their ankles. A simple route became a struggle. The nor'easter scoured the beach, reshaping ridges and filling hollows. Landmarks blurred. The air tasted of salt and grit. Back at the picnic, time passed. Around afternoon, the girls had not returned. Concern grew as the wind strengthened and the beach thinned out. A search began, first along the shoreline, then into the dunes. The nor'easter had already smoothed the sand, softening any trail. As daylight faded, the family notified authorities. Notes were taken, descriptions recorded, and the first calls went out over the air. Through the evening, broadcast radios carried brief alerts. Volunteers checked access tracks and headlands, while the wind continued to reshape the dunes. Overnight, the sand settled into new contours. By morning, the beach looked freshly swept, quiet, pale, and deceptively undisturbed. The next morning, a teenage boy walking the dunes made a discovery. He went for help at once. Police responded immediately. Patrol cars reached the access track. Officers moved carefully through the grassed swales toward the location. The area was cordoned. Tape fluttered in the wind. Notebooks opened, cameras documented the scene, radios crackled with brief measured updates. News spread quickly. Period headlines and bulletins framed the shock. 2 girls missing, been found in the dunes north of Cronulla. Maps clarified the setting. From Cronulla across the open beach to Wanda, a corridor of shifting sand where the wind rules and trails vanish within minutes. By late morning, a full investigation was underway. The dunes held few answers. The wind had taken most of the night to erase what little remained. What followed would become one of Australia's most haunting cases. The investigation began immediately and methodically. Police formed grid lines across the dunes, staking out squares, flagging markers, and recording measurements with clinical precision, determined to find any trace others might have missed. Conditions worked against them. Shifting sands erased footprints within hours, and well-meaning onlookers wandered through the area, unintentionally contaminating patterns that might have held answers. Forensics in 1965 had limits. Investigators relied on cast footprints, fiber notes, fingerprint dusting, typewritten reports, and card indexes, long before DNA could resolve marginal traces. Witnesses provided sketches of an unidentified male reportedly seen near the girls. A silhouette on a composite board became a focal lead, suggestive but not proof. Detectives took thousands of statements and logged every item. A knife, among other objects, was examined in detail, but nothing could be conclusively linked to the crime. Years later, investigators compared timelines and methods to known offenders, including Derek Percy. He was considered by some, but never charged in this case. Other suspects were examined and eliminated one by one. Leads that appeared promising often collapsed under scrutiny or could not be corroborated. 1965, the foundational inquiry, door-to-door canvassing, systematic searches, and an overwhelming volume of paperwork curated by hand. 1970s, reviews revisited witness accounts and composites, but the evidentiary base remained thin and perishable. 1990s, advances in forensic science offered hope, but available samples were limited or unsuitable for definitive DNA analysis. 2000s, cold case assessments consolidated decades of material, testing hypotheses against the record. No conclusive breakthrough emerged. Through it all, investigators remained cautious. Patterns can imply, but they do not prove. In this case, evidence uncertainty is the defining fact. Families and communities carried the weight of unanswered questions, while police kept the file active, careful not to outrun what the evidence could fairly support. Despite exhaustive work, grid searches, composites, item examinations, and later offender comparisons, no arrests were made. The record stands as a careful, incomplete picture. Until new testable evidence appears, any definitive claim goes beyond what the case can bear. First, the status. The Wanda Beach murders remain unsolved. NS police retain it as a cold case, with periodic reviews as new information, methods, and samples become available. Advances in forensic DNA and forensic genealogy now offer cautious hope, tools to re-examine traces that once seemed silent. These techniques don't guarantee answers, but they can connect fragments, families, and timelines in new ways. Police continue to assess leads and preserve opportunities for future testing. Any renewed analysis is careful, methodical, and guided by evidentiary and legal frameworks. Public information still matters. If you have credible details, contact Crime Stoppers and Nest Dollars. Periodic case reviews revisit witnesses, timelines, and physical exhibits as techniques evolve. The case left a deep imprint on coastal communities, sharpening beach safety awareness and vigilance among families and surf clubs. And it endures in Australia's true crime memory, somber, unresolved, never forgotten. Appeals continue. Small recollections, photos, or notes can help connect long-missing pieces. If you know something, no matter how minor it seems, please come forward. Contact Crime Stoppers NS Dollars or your nearest police station with credible tips. Decades on, hope persists, quiet, patient, and focused on justice. With empathy for their families, We remember Marianne Schmidt and Christine Sharrock, and we keep faith with the search for answers.